I will now call the annual organizational meeting to order. The board members Torelli, K. Talbot, and newly appointed student board member Lape have signed their constitutional oath of office forms. I will now call for nominations for the president of the Board of Education for the 25-26 school year.
I'd like to make a nomination for president, Mr. Hal Talbot.
Can I get it? Any other nominations? Favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any not in favor? Motion passed. Hal Talbot has been elected president of the Board of Education. I will now turn this meeting over to Hal.
I remember my nameplate this year. All right, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the support as we head into this challenging year, but I look forward to this. Welcome to Mike and Mike, not in the morning, but to Mike and Mike. We appreciate you here and look forward to a great year. So at this time, moving on in the reorg meeting, I will take nomination, please, for vice president.
I nominate Kim Talbot for vice president.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations for vice? All right, not at this time.
Aye.
Or abstain? So moved. Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you.
All right. Motion, please, on item number 5 to appoint officers A through Q.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint officers A through Q.
Jim, a second?
Second.
Jim. Anyone have any questions on that? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Item number 6. We would need a delegate, and a backup, please, for PTA Council.
I already did one over there as VP, so I'm happy to unless somebody else wants to hop on there.
All right, so we'll put Chad down as the council rep, and then an alternate. Okay, thank you. And then item number K, we need to appoint somebody for the Board of Education representative for the Health and Safety Committee.
I'll do that.
Thank you. That was K, yeah. And then we need to go to O. And O, we need to ask 2 people to be on the policy committee. However, I think some of us have talked about it. We would probably want to do 3 people this year for the policy committee, just to make sure that we're good. Okay. We know that, Pling, so Pam would be, and then the other 2.
I would like to see.
Chad, okay, thank you. Third person to volunteer.
Again?
I think it's time for if I need to be on that. It's time. I'd like to join it.
Do you want me to learn?
Did Mike want to do it? It's a good spot.
So you can in that one, Mike? Great, thank you. Okay, so now if I get a motion, please, for other appointments, item number 6, that would be A through O.
I'd like to make a motion for the other appointments, number 6, A through O.
Thanks, Chad. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Oh, sorry, question?
I'm just going to make a comment.
Sure.
Because my concern is that, as per the agreement, because I always find it interesting, the reorg does the appointments, but then the next meeting does the actual agreements themselves. Because I don't have any issue with the appointments per se, I have issues with some of the agreements with respect to the appointments. So I will vote to accept the appointments, but I may not necessarily vote to accept the agreements themselves. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. So we'll bring that up at the next meeting when we do the
Yes.
agreements. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Kim. Anything else? All right. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstain? Okay. Let's see, item number 7. If we can get someone on item number D, please, in 7, to be the legislative liaison.
I have enjoyed doing it, and I would love to continue if that's okay with everybody else.
That is fine with me.
I second that.
I think we're all in agreement.
Thank you.
On the next page, item number E, to delegate board members to serve on the audit committee. I would definitely like to be on the audit committee again this year, as well as serve as the chairperson if everyone. Mike, you join?
Yep.
Excellent. And then we need one more person to join us on the audit committee.
I can do it if nobody else wants to do it.
Good. All right, good. Thank you, everybody. So if I get a motion, please, for item number 7.
A motion to approve item number 7,
Oh, yeah, sorry. A through E.
A through E, as stated.
All right, good. Thank you. And a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, both. Any questions or comments on this one?
Do we need to designate the chairperson for each?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't speak into my microphone. I'll be louder next time. Can you hear me, Amy?
I can.
Okay.
Who are the designation, who are the people on that committee?
Hal, Mike, and Kim.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Your chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. All right, if we get a motion for 8A, please.
A motion to approve authorizations 8A through K.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Nice card, Jeff. Questions, comments on that part? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. And lastly, miscellaneous actions. If I can get a motion, please, for 9A through C.
I make a motion for miscellaneous actions A through C.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Chad. Questions or comments on that one? No? All in favor? Anyone opposed or abstain? All right, so moved. Thank you all. All right. Now we will move on to the regular business session. At this time, if you're able to rise, please do so for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and all. All right. So this time, we will open up the first hearing and privilege of the floor for the new school year. Remind everybody that it is 30 minutes. Each person that would like to address the board, please step to the podium, give us your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes to address the board. All right, I will close the first hearing and privilege of the floor. Remind everybody that we will have one towards the end of the meeting. And at this time, I will turn it over to Superintendent Schwartz for her comments.
Thank you, Mr. Talbot. And I'm going to provide you with a brief presentation this evening regarding our Reimagining of our Schools Committee. Maybe. I want to thank the board for their grace this week. I sent an email to you, but I would appreciate the additional time. And I want to share with you that my vision for what we do tonight is we create a spot on our website that basically has this title, Reimagining Our Schools, and that all of the work that is subsequently done will be on that spot. That will be one of our sources of information. So the purpose of this committee is going to be to serve as the vehicle for determining the future use of the district's elementary schools. You notice I am not saying closure. I don't know. Closure is certainly a distinct possibility given the items that we've talked about. But you also know there are other things I'm interested in terms of what we might do in repurposing that space. So I want to talk a little bit about the goals and objectives. These are also in the memo that's in your portal as of this afternoon, and then I think you all have a copy here. And I'm certainly not going to read them to you, but I want to talk a little bit about where this comes from. There are actually commissioner regulations in New York State Ed law which pertains to consideration of closing the school. So in my research about those topics, I have looked for what appears to be, if you will, the crux of minimally what folks should be looking at and considering and thinking about if in fact they're going to look at either repurposing or closing a school. So these 5 items and these 5 items come out of that reading and preparation for what it is we want to be thinking about if in fact we are going to close a school, because quite honestly closing the building is the easiest piece. Redistributing children, staff, answering some of the questions in terms of transition, special education programs, support staff, who goes where, who does what, transportation, what will the new attendance boundaries look like. Those really are the nuts and bolts pieces of not just closing a school, but then figuring out what you're going to do with the children who were in that school. So it's not quite as simple, I know you know this, as we just pick everybody up out of one building and move them to another building. We would really see this as a time to consider our attendance boundaries, to look at our distribution of students, to talk potentially about even, as one of the principals asked me today, would it be possible to talk about maybe a different grade level configuration? Yes, it will be possible to have those discussions. What it won't be possible to do is have them indefinitely. So the purpose of this group is to be complete with their work and prepared to contribute meaningfully as we are preparing budget and getting ready for a budget adoption at the end of March or early April. I want to point out number 10 to you because there is a sense of grieving in closing a school, whatever school it might be. We don't know that at this point, but certainly we want to honor the legacy of that school and pay special attention to our staff in that school as well as our students. If you were to look at any of our schools, we have staff members who have spent their entire career in that school. So although someone might think, well, what's the big deal? You were teaching 4th grade over here and now you're going to go teach 4th grade over here. It's a big deal. It's still a big deal. So we want to make sure that as we talk about what comes next, that we don't forget what came before, that we are mindful of that and of what we need to do to make sure we preserve those memories. So we're going to begin with a single committee, a central committee, if you will, and then divide into smaller work groups based on specific tasks. So this is an example, some samples of things we would do, and I know there are others here, but certainly looking at attendance boundaries, and Clara, our Director of Transportation, would be key to that work. Discussing grade level configurations, Mr. Arquette, that's his wheelhouse. Communication, you're going to see later in the presentation a 3-tiered prong to communication, but I would really see there being a specific group That sole purpose is to communicate about the work that's being done in terms of closing a school, to be reporting out, to make sure that the information is accurate, that it's being shared. There is a huge human resources component, especially if we think about reductions in force, which we might have to consider. And then both staff transitions and student transitions. They are not the same things, even though I have them on the same line. And there really are other things we're going to have to consider. So although we will start with a single group, that group is going to split, if you will, divide into several other entities that then might need to pick up some additional members, and those groups will work independently. For those of you who were here during COVID, this is how we addressed our COVID planning. We had an overarching group. It was Mr. Jay Quinto, Karen Swain, and myself. And then we had lots of teams that were doing all different kinds of pieces to put together our COVID plan. This is a very similar model to that. How do I make my interest and participation known? Those who are interested in joining the Reimagining Our Schools Committee will complete a brief online application. The application will initially be available July 28th through Labor Day, and that'll be in this spot, Reimagining Our Schools, for people to take a look at. And basically what that will help us determine is that we have balance and representation from all of our schools that people are interested in serving. If you go back and think about those areas I identified, if people have interest in specific areas, they can indicate that. If they have children at elementary, middle, high school, where their youngsters currently are, because although we're talking about primarily an elementary initiative, it was going to impact both middle school and high school eventually. So I would want people from those areas also involved, families from those areas also involved. So we'll start there, and then if people miss the application, if it is not communicated well enough, we will make sure that we continue to keep it available after Labor Day. So if someone's late to the party, they can still take a look at participating on one of the smaller teams. Communication will be crucial in this process, so I'm looking at 3 pieces to that, and again, a committee that does nothing but communication. So transparent timelines, expectations, and data sharing. You'll see in the charge that you have that we talk about agendas and minutes for any group that's meeting, that those things are published in advance, much like we've done with the Athletic Council this year, which has worked very well. That we're going to use our website, social media, our written work products, when we can, other media outlets, certainly agendas and minutes, so that we can constantly be communicating, that there will be a living, breathing document on our website, but in other places where people can access that. That we communicate to our constituents, so through our PTAs, through our clubs, through our athletics, that people can find this information, or that it is easily accessible to them. And then finally, we will need public forums and hearings because they're the right thing to do, but they're also required by the law. So we will make sure that we are doing those things along the way. Some people have said to me as they have been looking at my draft, well, what about, when, how will questions about things like school mascots be determined? Initially, we'll use a parking lot. This is an old-fashioned idea, but where you literally park ideas that whose time isn't yet. So, for example, a discussion about a school mascot would be premature at this point because we don't even know which of our schools we might talk about closing or repurposing. So to start worrying about what we're going to do about a mascot before we take that initial step would be a little fast. At the same time, I want to make sure we are keeping an active list, again, that exists on our Reimagining Schools section of our website, that says, here are things that people are asking about, we're not ignoring you, but these are the things that we've got to get to once we've built a little more structure. Okay? And these are key considerations in the process for closing and, in my mind, repurposing a school. And again, they're right out of New York State education law. First of all, you know I'm a stickler for compliance, so we will comply with New York State education law and the commissioner's regulations and do those things that we are required to do. We want to make this as transparent and inclusive a process for our participants and the larger community, not just the folks who are part of that Reimagining our schools team, but also people throughout our community who would have a vested interest in knowing what we're doing. It is critical that we make sure we are thinking about equity, not equality, but equity and access for all students, regardless of which spot they end up in or what the master plan turns out to be. We want to think about our student outcomes, so if we're going to do something, let's say there was a discussion about moving 6th grade back to elementaries. Well, what would be the student outcomes that we think could be achieved if we did that as opposed to leaving 6th grade at middle school? And then if we were to do that, what did we just do to grades 7 through 12? And that would have a student impact, a staffing impact, support staff impact. So we have to be mindful that all of these things are intertwined, and we can't just make a decision without thinking about what's the impact of that decision. We will pay close attention to our personnel and our collective bargaining contractual obligations. If you talk about reductions in force, if you talk about transferring teachers, if you talk about transferring administrators, all of those things are dictated under either collective bargaining and or the law. There are certain ways we have to do that. I am counting on Joe Bush to be a leader in that for me. And then, as you've heard Drew and I talk about throughout this budget season, we've got to look at long-term district sustainability and our fiscal forecast. While we might all want to keep 4 elementary schools open, that may not be fiscally the most responsible thing we can do, given where we are. So we're going to have some serious discussions about that. That was a very brief overview. Because I just gave you this information today, I don't really expect you to respond. In fact, I think when I sent the charge to you, I said, if you could let me know by July 21st, if you see any gaps, admin knows they're going to let me know by Friday, the 18th. I will look at what we're doing, and if what we're doing fits somewhere within here, or it becomes a parking lot item, or if you just have a random question. But I'm not asking you to adopt anything. I will bring you a final charge for adoption on the 24th, our next 28th, the next meeting. In the meantime, we will start collecting the names of people who want to participate, and we will start communicating about the process. Whew, that was a lot fast. I apologize. But if you have any initial questions, I'm happy to respond to them.
Susan, because I just cracked my new edition of New York State education law, the citation right here, is this where I can find everything covered?
402-8.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's actually in a number of places, but that's the place.
Okay, thank you.
The 6th grade example that you used was just an example purely, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because when you said it, I said, what was that? Yeah, okay, so I just want to make sure it was just an example. Thank you for this. I think this was pretty spot on and pretty clear cut. So I look forward to this year.
Yes. I think you guys said that was simply an example.
I was reinforcing that.
Do we currently know the makeup of the committee yet? What do you want the committee look like?
No, I just am interested in people who are interested in doing the work.
Okay.
So unlike the athletic committee where we're trying to achieve balance between outside organizations, inside organizations, our own people, that kind of thing, this is going to be a bit of a grueling process, and people are going to be unhappy. You know, even when people say to us, yes, I understand fiscally it makes sense to close the school. Sacadagas sections are running at 2022, Glenville's are running at 1413. There's an inequity there. We need to do something that balances class sizes. Everybody thinks this is a great idea until I say it's this school. And then it's not such a great idea. So I expect this to be challenging, but would welcome the work. And we will have several subcommittees. And in the charge, it talks about each subcommittee having a facilitator. In some instances, it will be a district person, but in other situations, it may not. It may be someone who's just interested in that topic. It could be Claire on transportation. It will probably be Joe Bush on the HR piece taking the lead. I've got Drew and I don't think he knows this yet, co-chairing the Central Committee. Rick is going to do anything that looks like instruction, which will include things like grade level configuration with his team. And then those teams will come together periodically because we have to make sure whatever we are all talking about in our teams still comes together in the central group, reimagining our schools. We have to be in agreement. So I do expect that there will be some less than happy moments. This is a painful process.
I do appreciate the communication part of this that you've got set up here with the transparent timelines and keeping it out to the community and on the website so they can apply. I think that that's going to be great for our community to be involved and work together. So thank you for that.
When you get the final charge, after I get feedback from folks, you'll also get a timeline. And as with any timeline, I'm sure it will need adjusting along the way. But there will be a timeline that backs us up from April 1st-ish to August.
Thank you.
Other questions at this point? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Team, we can move items 5 and 6 together if we'd like to. So if I get a motion, please, to approve a legal counsel agreements between Scotia-Glenville school districts and our 2 different law firms.
I'd like to make a motion to accept items 5 and 6, approving legal counsel agreement by and between the Scotia-Glenville Central School District in Girvan and Verloza, BC, and legal counsel agreement by and between the Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Honeywell Law Firm, PLLC.
Thank you. And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments at this time?
I have a few questions and comments. I want to say that I appreciate that Honeywell kept their rates the same from last year to this year, because with the budget and everything, that's very helpful. I did want to ask, Girvan and Palazzo did increase theirs $10 an hour, so I was wondering what they know our position with respect to the budget. I was just curious as to the discussions that took place with respect to that increase.
Drew, do you want to take that?
Girvan and Palazzo's average increase is 200 basis points less than Honeywell's over the last few years. This is what they felt they needed to cover their service. I asked the question.
Okay, and then with respect to the Girvan and Palazzo agreement, they discussed the rates in paragraph 3, the second bullet, that for services for special ed, litigation and hearings, it's $225 an hour for the attorney's fees, but $100 for paralegal. But then the third bullet, it only says construction matters will be billed at $225 an hour. Will the paralegal rates remain at $100 if it's a construction matter?
I assume we've never used their paralegal, never dealt with a paralegal with them in 10 years.
Okay.
So I would assume that.
And then with the Honeywell agreement, I mean, this might be the same answer, but they just talk about $200 for legal services, and I know I brought that up in previous years that they don't differentiate between attorneys and paralegals, and there is a difference in price with respect to that. Is it their intention not to use paralegals at all in with respect to their work for us?
We've never had it on a bill. They itemize who's, each bill itemizes who's billing us the billable hour, and it's always the attorney.
Sure.
It's always Jeff.
Okay. And has there ever been an issue regarding, they talk about large photocopying and postage costs will be on us versus, has that ever been an issue previously?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, that's all I had on, we just did 5 and 6, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I had, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kim. Anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. Again, if we'd like to, since this has to do with health, we can move items 7 and 8 to approve the agreements between Scotia-Glenville and Ortho New York, as well as Saratoga Hospital.
A motion to approve the agreement between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Ortho New York for athletic trainer services, and also approve the agreement between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Saratoga Hospital as stated.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Chad. Questions, comments on this?
I had a question. Number 7, with Ortho New York and athletic training services, does that include the athletic trainer? That's separate.
That's the trainer.
That's the trainer.
Okay,
He works for them.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, I am again, I appreciate that Saratoga Hospital kept their rate the same from last year to this year. But I did notice that the Ortho New York rate went up a couple $1,000, and I was wondering what the discussion was with respect to that increase, especially since there was a lot of discussion, the budget with respect to the athletic trainer.
And that's what we carried in the budget, because that's what we proposed. It's 3%, which is, inflation was 2.9, so I thought it was reasonable.
Okay. And you answered my second question, that was incorporated in the budget that we voted on. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. And a motion and a second, please, for item number 9.
I make a motion to approve addendum to the agreement between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and the Village of Scotia for a district resource officer as submitted.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thanks, Chad. Questions on this one? Comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. If I get a motion for resolution item number 10, please.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution and appropriate funds from Schoharie Area Workers' Compensation Consortium.
Thank you, Chad. A second.
I'll second.
Questions, comments on this one? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. If I get a motion, please, for item number 11, to approve an MOA between Scotia-Glenville School District and the Secretarial Association, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement by and between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Scotia-Glenville Secretarial Association.
Thanks, Jan. A second.
I'll second.
Thanks, Garnett. Any questions on this one or comments?
What is the Titan Link Connect?
That's our school lunch management
Okay.
system.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. I got a motion, a second, please, for item number 12.
A motion to approve the revocational license agreement between the Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Scotia-Glenville League ASA Incorporated and the Junior Tartans Incorporated, Scotia-Glenville Junior Tartans. The tongue twister.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
Thanks, Chad. Questions, comments on this one?
No.
All right. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. If I can get a motion, please, item number 13, to approve the Scotia-Glenville District 25-26 student cell phone policy for a first reading.
I make a
I move-
motion. Never mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Scotia-Glenville Central School District 25-26 student cell phone policy for first reading as submitted.
Thank you. And a second,
I'll second it.
Kim. Thank you. Any further questions or comments on that after our public hearing?
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone that worked on that, and Mr. Arquette, thank you. If not, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. We can move 14 through 16 if we'd like to, since 17 has a bunch of them in there. So if I get a motion, please, on policy, items 14, 15, and 16.
I'll move to approve for annual review board policy numbers 3140, employee laptop user policy and agreement, board policy number 6240, and appendix P, investment procedures, board policy number 6720, and appendix R, procurement procedures, number 6910.1, reserved for employee benefit accrued liabilities, the reserve for workers' compensation, and the unemployment insurance reserve, 6910.2, reserve for debt services, 6910.3, reserve for tax certiorari, 6910.4, retirement contributions reserve, 6910.5, fund balance classifications, and 6910.6, retirement contribution reserve fund and retirement contribution reserve sub fund.
All right, Kim, thank you. And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments on any of that?
I did have a question on 3140 because there's this one section that says it's the employee laptop. It says I understand and then a bunch of things. Did the employees sign off on that? Okay.
Correct.
That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Nothing else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. I get a motion on resolution number 18 to set the 25-26 school tax rate, please.
I'll motion to approve the resolution set 2025-2026 school tax rate. As stated.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Jen. Questions, comments on this one? No. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. I get a motion, please, on item number 19.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Christine Corsone, School District Deputy Treasurer, as receiver of certified payroll for capital projects.
Thanks, Chad. And a second, please.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Kim. Anyone have any questions on this or comments?
Apologies if I butchered the name.
That's all right. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed or abstains? So moved. If I get a motion, please, for item number 20.
I'd like to make a motion to approve shared services bus maintenance agreement.
Thanks, Chad. And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thanks, Kim. Questions or comments on this one?
I have a question. Drew, would you mind telling us how we benefit from this agreement? If you don't mind?
You saved about $20 million in the capital outlay to build a new facility because we're using theirs. We get aid on everything over there, so I provided to the board a historical analysis which says the average net cost about $140,000, which is really the cost of 1.5 mechanics if we did this on our. So we're getting a really good value. It's what the state loves is the fact that we're sharing services with another district. They have a state-of-the-art facility. They hire the mechanics. You can see our DOT rating is 97%. They manage our bus parts. We get favorable audits in that area now. So we manage the drivers, the routes. They take care of the repairs and maintenance on our buses. I think it's a great arrangement. Their board is 100% in favor of this. We'll be bringing to our respective boards separately a renewal agreement and for you to consider in the fall.
So you think we'll get another 5-year agreement next year?
They want to do another agreement with us, and I'm in favor of it if the board
Okay.
is. But I'll write it up for you, and you can chew on it and make your decision.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. If nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. I get a motion, please, on 21 and 22 resolutions to accept and appropriate gift and donations to the music department.
Make a motion to accept an appropriate gift and donation from an anonymous donor to the Scotia-Glenville Central School District Music Department from the Bolton. I submitted, and I'm sure Emily will love this right now, so.
Yes, you would. Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
Thanks, Jen. Questions or comments on this one?
Just wanted to say thank you to the anonymous donor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? So moved. I get a motion, please, on communications A and B. And then report of the superintendent, items 1 through 20, please. And then keep going.
I'll move communications A and B, staffing A through A1 through 20, and placement of children with disabilities, and the minutes June 30th, 2025 in regular meeting.
Thank you, Kim. And second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Kim. Questions or comments on all that?
Susan, to circle back to our earlier conversation with 23A, this will in no way affect our head count as far as reading teachers since it's
No,
such a large-
it won't. Thank you for asking that, Chad. No, Mr. Arquette and 3 of the elementary principals were interviewing first-round reading candidates this morning. And then I believe we are already talking about the second round in selection, correct?
So we'll be good to go for the school year. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And I
Thank
had
you,
a
Chad.
similar question for B. Will be replacing this teacher as well?
Yes, right now we have posted that position internally in case we have someone who might want to move. But we have also gone out at the same time and posted for that.
And then I had a couple other questions under 24. For number 4, what is staff track?
Staff track is how we keep track of our staff's annual professional performance review materials that are required. So staff track is the system that literally we put everything into and that is tracked.
And then for 19, for the cross-country modified, Jared is misspelled. It's Jared, not OZ.
Oh, thank
For
you.
Jared Link. Just wanted to
Thank
note that. And then I didn't see any asterisks or anything, so all the people involved in 24, they've all been fingerprinted and we're all good to go. Thanks.
Great.
Thank you. Anything else on that?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
I'm supporting 3 A and B. For me, Glenwood was a special place in my heart, and I think it's not losing now, almost. And I'm just hoping that this year, not just jumping ship in fear, I'll be close, when we're leaving.
If nothing else, we'll approve this with the correction to the Mr. Link's name. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstain? So moved. Routine business, we already went over. Item number 26, other business. Does any of us have any other business to discuss?
I had a couple things.
Yes, sir.
Drew, the BBB pass, do you have any initial reactions on anything that could mean for us, especially like the Medicaid?
We'll wait and see, because a couple of years they froze Medicaid because of this sort of thing. But right now, we don't anticipate that affecting our funding on this. Chad, you don't know. You don't know. But I'll keep you posted.
Yes.
Can find out before I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm more concerned about the fact that, how many billion was it that the federal government wants to take away from education? 7, I think it was, or something?
3 billion.
Yeah, that they want to take away from education, that's what's scaring me.
To touch on what Karjit said, who's Mrs. Ellinger, we really miss her. Wish her best. All of our outgoing staff wish her best as we next journey. And then just remind everyone that tomorrow, 6 p.m., the 12U baseball all-stars are going to be down at Collins Park playing. So that's their next step toward the championship, hopefully. So if we can get out there, please do so and support our kids.
Absolutely. Great bunch of kids.
I would like to bring up, back in January, February, we had all talked that we would like to do an employee of the month that the board chooses based on nominations. And then obviously the budget was a priority at the time. But we had talked about, I'd like to see it brought back to maybe try to start in August for our first meeting. I passed around again the nomination form that I had created that Chad very kindly made it look much better than I had it originally. Did everybody get a chance to look at it? And
Yes.
did they have any changes, or were they okay with it?
No, I think it's great, my 2 cents.
I thought it looked great, so.
I'd like to send it to you, Susan, and then we were thinking if we could put it on Facebook, at the website, and Parent Square, because we'd really like to get nominations coming in. We're hoping just to be able to do a little something for our employees and let them know that we are thinking of them, and we realize the work that they do is important and valued.
So you're going to send me the
I'll email
completed
it to you, I'll
form?
email it to you tomorrow,
Excellent.
yes, thank you. And then to the population, please be on the lookout for this nomination form. We want to hear from the community. Any employee in the district is viable for a nomination, and we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely, thank you. Any other business? All right, if not, I will open up the second hearing and privilege of the floor. At this time, again, if anybody would like to address the board, we have 30 minutes. Please just state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes. All right, that would be a no. All right, so we'll close the second hearing, privilege of the floor. And this time I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. And oppose or abstain? So moved. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.